You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Bermel.
Thanks for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bermel, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Glad to be here.
Jeff Wagstaff.
Hey, Kimberly, thanks for having me.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
I'm not so happy here.
Oh, come on.
We don't even believe that for a second.
He's got chicken nuggets. What's he
I
complaining
know Jeff
about?
brought you Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets.
That's it, because
He has
you guys
nothing to
ate it
complain
before
about.
I touch it.
He did before we touched it.
So it's already gone.
It was
I don't need any.
sealed and handed specifically to you.
Like one of those
So,
sterile packs.
Yeah, but that was it.
it.
That was empty.
Hermetically sealed they were.
There you go. Well,
Something
we
like
have...
That's why it was empty, because it was sealed.
Oh, there you go. Sealed with air. Anyway, you know, when people think about spine surgery, it's not something that you just want to rush into at the first onset of pain. But when you realize that pain hasn't gone away and you try conservative methods and those aren't working for you, in simple tasks, just like trying to get yourself into a car or turning your head or moving around, if those things are starting to hurt you, you really need to seek out treatment. And when you do, you want to go to the one that broke away from the mold and got rid of traditional spine surgery. And he developed his own patented tools and methods and created the targeted precision procedures, the Bonati spine procedures. They're located here in Hudson, Florida, just north of Tampa. Anyway, we have an exciting lineup on this show. We're going to talk about the ongoing healthcare debate and see how everything's heating up. We're going to be talking about treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder soldiers. It's a return guest, Megan Barth.
Megan Barth, we've had her on many times covering the debates. She's more of a political commentator, but a cousin
Right.
of hers served overseas. He's back.
Yeah.
Now he's in jail. It's really a terrible story.
Yeah, we need to hear it. And then, of course, we'll discuss what's new in American medicine today. But up first...
In today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute who went from living a life that was restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
It is my pleasure to introduce to the program Robbie Robbins. Now, he has been a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute and undergone those Bonati spine procedures. And we're talking to him from Midway, Florida. It's a little town near Tallahassee. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. How are y'all doing today?
We're
Good.
doing well.
So why don't you start by telling us how you came to be in pain? Were you in some sort of accident, or do you think it was degenerative in nature just over time?
Right. I've got some degenerative things that
Okay.
I've gotten from my both mother and father. And I did have an accident when I was 17,
Okay.
falling from about 10 feet to some asphalt on a job
Oh,
and fracturing a T12 in my back. That went unnoticed for quite some time.
right.
And of course, they said you're young, you'll bounce back, and you won't have any problems. And I'd say for about 5 years, I've lived in pain, and I've seek treatment, pain management. Everybody's told me pretty much major back surgery is going to be your answer to fixing all of your problems. Constantly disappointment with every doctor that I've seen. There was times where I was picking my leg up to get out of the vehicle and, picking it back up to put it into the vehicle. And this went on for a long time for what it felt to me. I met a customer in the job that I do in the heat and air business here in Tallahassee. And that's when he had brought to my attention that he had been to the Bonati Spine Institute, printed me literature, told me all about it. The ins and the outs,
Right.
and that's how I ended up at the Bonati Spine Institute.
You know, things really do happen for a reason, because there you were just doing your daily job.
Right.
And
And
did
he had issues with his air conditioner, and I had issues with back pain. And,
Yeah.
he seemed frustrated with his air conditioner. When I called him, I said, the only way I'm going to be able to fix this air conditioner is if I can put my eyes on it. And I said, I understand somebody with back pain, your frustrations, and you're aggravated. I'm in the same way. He says, actually, I feel great. And that's what started the conversation. So, I mean, I feel like God kind of placed me at that spot on that day.
Right.
Yep, you're always put where you need to be when you need to be.
That's exactly right.
Back up a quick second, Robbie, and tell us: did you try any other traditional treatments, anything like that, before this customer got involved and told you to seek out Bonati?
Oh, yes. I've been to the orthopedic clinic here in town, which was, referred to a pain management doctor.
Okay.
He never even took the time to show me on the x-rays and the films that I'd already taken and spent all the money on to even show me where my problems were.
Right.
And I was like, well, did he look at these on his lunch break, or did he look at them at the house the previous day? Because he never took the time that the Bonati Spine Institute took with me to explain what is creating my pain.
Right.
Chiropractors wouldn't even touch me. As soon as I mentioned T12 fracture, they didn't want to touch me. So I almost was going to lie about my back to the chiropractor so that they would adjust me, because I thought I just needed an adjustment.
Right.
So I'm glad I didn't make that mistake in my life as well.
Correct. Now, so you got referred by your customer. You send in, I'm guessing you reach out to Bonati.
Right. I still kind of waited a little bit. I felt okay, and then I went
Okay.
into that next tube where I couldn't sleep. I was slipping and I flopped, and I got on the internet. I filled out the information.
Yeah.
And I faxed over all of my MRI reports. Within, I'd say, 30, 45 minutes to an hour, I had a phone call from the Bonati Spine Institute explaining we can definitely help you. You are a candidate for surgery. We can definitely help you with the pain that you're experiencing on your right lower buttocks, pretty much. And I was like, I didn't even explain where my pain was, and they went straight to it.
So
I'm 100%.
let me ask you, that pain that you mentioned in the lower right buttocks, did it just stay localized to that area, or did it shoot anywhere else?
It did shoot down the back and the side of my right leg.
Okay.
I didn't feel that it ever extended all the way to the end of my foot. When I was driving, I did notice, tingling sensations, in my lower foot when I was in a sitting position.
Right.
But the thing with my pain is it came and gone. So it was very, very tricky to diagnose and explain my pain symptoms, to a doctor, because
Sure.
it seemed to just be from left to right, down
Got
the
it.
leg. Very inconsistent.
Got it. So you hear that you're a candidate. You walk into the Bonati Spine Institute. Why don't you explain that experience with us?
I just felt like I was at home when I walked in the door. I was welcomed. Basically showed around the areas. Make yourself at home. Make yourself a cup of coffee. Get you a snack while you wait.
Sure.
And it was a very simple process. You start with your exams. They basically give you a checkoff sheet, and from the time you walk in the door till the time that you leave with your surgical order, you're constantly doing something, and so you're not just sitting around in a doctor's office waiting. So
Correct.
It was a very pleasant atmosphere, and it kept you busy and kept your mind occupied the whole time you were there, getting all of the procedures that needed to be done in order to make sure that your surgery went well and you got your order, and everything was explained very well.
How was that evaluation process when you finally got face-to-face with your doctor and you're in there? Did you have to explain where your pain was, or did they pretty much know?
He pretty much went straight to it. He popped the film up there, and he started circling all the issues and was explaining different, talking all of this surgeon language, and I'm like, wow, to actually circle and explain the issues that I'm having. This is what we need to do. I enjoyed it. I'm glad that I actually met a doctor that would actually take the time to do that. And explain.
So you felt very highly educated then, going into the surgery.
At that point, yeah.
Uh-huh.
From the time I walked in, I didn't know much about anything, and then after I left, I know a lot more than I did when I walked in the door.
Let's fast forward to the surgery. Okay, they told you beforehand you were going to have that conscious IV sedation, so you'd be able to communicate at times during the surgery with the surgeon, help them pinpoint your pain that you were there for. And I got to know, did you watch?
Well, the first surgery, I don't remember too much about
Okay.
it, but on the second surgery, I did. I started to come to there towards the end, and I done exactly what the customer that referred me, he said to turn over and look towards your right, and that's what I did, and I saw the string, and I just felt at ease. I didn't feel anything. I didn't even feel the pressure of them doing any parts of the procedure there at the end when I was alert, but it was simply an amazing procedure. So anybody that's worried about it, I would much rather go through that than the pain that I lived in for the last 5 years.
Yep.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And did you think it would be as simple as that?
No, never in my wildest dreams.
Aw. And how are you doing now? Are you back to doing any of the things that you were kept from doing before?
To be honest, today I am actually at about a 12-story hotel.
Okay.
I'm working on air conditioner on the roof, and I was looking forward to this phone call to go sit out in the truck, turn the air conditioner on, and take a break. I'm walking upstairs. I have no pain whatsoever. Of course, I'm not doing any heavy lifting, Dr. Bonati.
Right.
But I am. I'll tell you what. I've never felt this good. I couldn't tell you the last time that I felt this good. My mind, your personality. Everything changes when you don't have the pain that you were living with. I was very short fused with my technicians that I talked to on a daily basis.
Right.
There was some times when I was talking to customers that I felt like, it was just, they were aggravating me. But, it was the pain in my back that was aggravating me so much to the point it just changes your life. And
now we have a kinder, gentler Robbie Robbins.
Good to hear.
Right.
So,
all right, thanks, Robbie.
Continue good health, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day and from such a tough job to share your story with us. Thank you so much.
Well, you're very welcome. I appreciate it, too. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
Thank you, Robbie.
Thanks, Robbie. Have
Bye-bye.
a good one. Bye-bye.
See, we hear stories like this all the time, and it can happen for you, too. Check out Bonati.com or call 855-267-0483. Coming up, we're going to talk about the healthcare debate and see how it's heating up. Make sure you stay tuned. You're listening to American Medicine Today. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brummel.
You are listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brummel, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Always a pleasure.
Our friend Jeff Wagstaff.
Hello, Kimberly.
As well as our friend Ethan, let's not forget. And then we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
Hi, Kimmy.
Hi.
What's up, Doc?
Well, this is something you're going to be so excited about because the presidential race has reignited the battle over health care. And joining us right now is Kevin McKechnie, Executive Director of Health Savings Account Council and the American Bankers Association's Office of Insurance Advocacy. Wow, now that's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is.
Sounds like you're busy out there.
How you doing, Kevin?
We're well. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon to everyone.
Hi, Kevin.
I know Dr. Bonati's going to have a lot to say about this topic, of course.
I want to listen a lot.
But
Yes.
I kind of want to just kick things off, Kevin. We've had a ton of people on the show talking about Obamacare, the failures of Obamacare, but it seems
Countless.
like out of everyone, nobody really has a whole lot of hope of a full repeal, A, or B, any faith in a replacement for Obamacare. What are your thoughts?
Good reasons for that, and that's because anyone with even a passing familiarity with political science can read the election infrastructure in the Senate, where we expect to see a Democratic Senate next year, simply based upon the fact that in the Class 3, the class that's up in 2016, there's 24 Republicans up, only 10 Democrats. And so the political risk here is all on the Republican side, and of course they hold the gavel by just 4 votes. And so they've got to be successful 20 times just to keep the hand the way it is. The Democrats only have to be successful 10 times, and so it's about twice as much effort for the Republicans to keep the Senate. What that means is if you're going to repeal and replace something as huge as the Affordable Care Act, you do need both houses of Congress to do it.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
And how you can push that to happen?
Go twist their arms and say, vote this way.
Exactly.
Well, so it's not exactly popular in a lot of different places, and there is one very important bipartisan piece of legislation that we should bring up over and over again, and that is a 90-vote majority in the Senate to repeal the Cadillac tax, which is a funding mechanism for the Affordable Care Act, was the linchpin of how all of these subsidies were supposed to be paid. And since that's been delayed and then further harmed by the fact that it's now deductible to anyone who might be liable to pay for it, the chances that it will fund the Affordable Care Act are remote, and therefore the act, even if you can't repeal it, tends to die financially incrementally every year until about 2020.
Right. And that bill is being introduced by Senator Hatch.
I think Rubio has something to do with it.
Paulson, and a couple other co-sponsors. But I don't understand how anyone could be for the Cadillac tax.
It seemed like a reasonable idea, and brace yourselves, because on the Republican side, there is an alternative to it, which is to say they tax high-cost health plans too. They just do it much more reasonably, saying if you've got a health plan that has very, very rich benefits, well, then we're going to subject a certain amount of those benefits to regular income tax. On the Democratic side, the idea was, well, we'll just take all plans above a certain number, and we'll subject them to a 40% excise tax. Their problem, of course, is that they didn't anticipate the fact that medical inflation grows exponentially faster than regular inflation. So it's not really a Cadillac tax. It's more like a Chevrolet tax. Everyone's going to have to pay it.
Well, Kevin, I have to jump in here because, you know, you have the watchdogs that are saying billions in possible fraudulent Obamacare payments. You have rotten customer service. I'm not even sure that their website's functioning proper. How is it that we can keep spending more and more on something that is so dysfunctional?
It's depressing. We're hearing you tell me all of these things that make so much sense and are logical, but you keep forgetting this is Washington. And so mediocrity is celebrated here, and that's just the fact of life. It doesn't work. It's overfunded.
Right. And they're not part of it. That's right. They're exempt.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I forgot. That's it.
Exactly.
Convenient.
And so, I mean, it just doesn't seem to end here, but it's not subject to the Darwinian forces that regular markets impose.
Exactly.
It's subject to bureaucratic forces.
Yes.
That's a very different deal indeed. And so the people that support this, that wanted it, wanted to do so, and the Republicans have embraced taking care of medical underwriting, so there isn't any of that anymore. We have the AARP to thank for collapsing the premium banding to just 3 buckets from 8. And so young people have to pay just a huge amount of money, which they don't want to do.
Sure.
So we don't have their dollars or their lives in any of the premium or risk profiles. But the point you actually made was, where are the people, the cops, that are supposed to stand up and say, hey, wait a minute, administration, you shouldn't have paid the insurers. That was illegal. Well, there are none. And it's because there's no supermajority of Republican senators willing to stand up and say, hey, this was wrong. And on the Democratic side, there's a certain muscle memory that's now become used to the fact that extra legal things are happening in implementation of the Affordable Care Act, and they're just not willing to hold everyone accountable the way they used to on other projects. If this was a defense project and you've been acquiring jets from Boeing and the cost overruns had reached where we are, that would be another thing.
Right.
Kevin, you are depressing me, man. I'm telling you, why don't you give us some direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, that we need to do so we can talk about in a clear information to the people? Because you talk about Cadillacs and Chevrolets and things like that, nobody pay attention. We need to know exactly what we need to do.
What we need to do, I can give you 2 points that I think identify it most, which is...
About a minute left, Kevin. Keep that in mind.
1 minute left, and I'll do it quickly. Support the idea that people are responsible for their health care first before they ask their neighbors to help them also.
Correct.
That's the first thing you could ask people to do, and HSAs are in a perfect position to do that. The second part is government is supposed to be by the law. Why is it not following the law? Why are we all just sort of shrugging our shoulders when the administration runs right past the legal barriers put in front of it by our elected representatives? I don't know the answer, but at some point someone's going to have to bring it up and force accountability. I think that's what reform is going to be about next year.
I certainly hope Donald Trump can get to the bottom of that and wipe out Obamacare and get this thing done. Thank you so much for sharing your insight with us. Kevin McKechnie, Executive Director of Health Savings Account Council and the American Bankers Association's Office of Insurance Advocacy. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Well, make sure you stay tuned, because coming up next, we have treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder and what's going on with soldiers. We have a return guest. Make sure you stay tuned. You're listening to American Medicine Today. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonatti Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonatti spine procedures, Alfred Bonatti, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Always a pleasure.
And Jeff Wagstaff.
Absolutely ecstatic to be here with Kimberly, the doc, and Ethan today.
And the doc is world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonatti of the Bonatti Spine Institute.
Why are you lying, Jeff?
What's up? Come on. No, I love spending time with you, Doc.
This is such an important topic because we're always talking about soldiers. So we're on with Megan Barth. She's a return guest and nationally recognized political commentator, women's advocate, and founder of ReaganBaby.com. And she's going to talk about a very personal story, the treatment of our brain-damaged veterans returning from combat. So thank you for being here to discuss such an important topic, Megan.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me back. And I write about this on ReaganBaby.com, Justice for Clay, a true story of the cruel and unusual punishment of a brain-injured veteran. And Clayton App is my cousin.
Right. Yeah. So, like as Kimberly mentioned, this is a very personal story for you. Why don't you summarize? There's a lot of details involved, but summarize for us what happened to your cousin Clay overseas, then what happened when he returned, and what's going on now.
Yes, Clayton, I call him Clay, was a 7-year veteran of the U.S. Army. He served 2 tours in Iraq, and he returned a very different man. Just to give you an understanding, when he entered the Army, he accelerated quite quickly through the ranks. Mm-hmm. He was offered honor guard 3 separate times. He turned it down in order to go airborne. He wanted to see combat. He went over, again, did 2 tours. After his second tour, he came back a completely changed man. Yeah. He was discharged, sent to the care of his parents. For 2 years, he couldn't hold down a job. He has and still does have night terrors. And he really was not transitioned back into society like many of our damaged veterans are. The problem with PTSD and TBI is that they are injuries that you cannot see. Right. And they manifest themselves in a variety of ways. TBI is traumatic brain injury. PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. And a combination of these injuries are mental injuries and need to be treated as such. The VA in Gainesville was a half an hour from Clayton's house, and so oftentimes he could not make his appointments and because of gas or money or what have you, or sometimes he would forget his appointments, and that is one of the complications of his mental injuries is memory loss.
Right.
He would be then kind of given a demerit, so to speak, whereby he would be punished if he would miss these appointments. So they originally gave him opiates,
right,
which the VA often does. Okay. Highly addictive painkillers. I basically just say prescribed heroin because that's really what it is.
Correct. Can I interrupt you just for a second? Because we talk with patients all the time that are on different opiates sometimes when they come in for surgery, and we wean them off those things. But they talk about how they were unable to do anything, and yet they prescribe them to Clay, and then they expect him to be able to function like a normal person, get in a car and drive, and remember his appointments.
There are 2 things that we need to remember here. The first thing is that the VA create drug addictions. Mm-hmm. It's constantly doing that. I keep saying every time and every opportunity that I have is that the VA treat the people with some sort of opiates. And the next thing that happened is these people keep coming back to the VA just to take these drugs. Yeah. And the
That's correct.
And now they tried to create, all these politicians, they got together, they got in television, they got in radio, and they say, we're going to help the VA, and they create those cards that the VA, the veteran can go to physicians outside of the VA hospital. The problem is, those cards are based on service at the level of the Medicaid. So no physician is receiving outside this type of a service. So if we need to talk about how to help the veterans to have really good health care, what we need to do is we need to give them a type of a service of an insurance like United Healthcare or Cigna, that the people can go to the real doctors to have a real service and to be treated. Otherwise, we are perpetuating individuals in drugs and individuals that they are degenerating on their health care.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Doc. And there is no reason that our veterans do not deserve the best health care similar to what our senators and congressmen have.
Exactly. I will send those ones to the war and see what happens.
The other aspect of this problem, Megan, that in anticipation of you coming on today, because I really enjoy when you're on the show with us, looking at this last night, I got on the internet, I started doing some digging, and the thing that I never thought about, guys like Clay can go from Iraq, where they're in intense firefights, to being home in less than 10 days. Right. They go from the battlefield to spending time in their living room with their families, with young children. And look, the best guy in the world has to have trouble adjusting from shooting and being shot at to spending time with their kids. There's got to be a bridge to bring them back.
Yeah, the horrors of war that Clayton experienced, he was in Sadr City on the first surge, and in the second surge he was in Baghdad, and he witnessed horrors that he still cannot talk about. And so when they return from the war, they carry the war with them, and there are no transitional services, or very limited, on how to basically take these guys out of the war and readjust them back into civilian life. That even includes job training. Clayton's parents literally got their son back, who was completely a changed man, completely broken. They work both, 40, 60 hours a week. They're not caretakers. They don't have a medical background. They would find their son lying on the floor or walking all night long. He didn't even sleep in his own bed for a year. He slept on the floor. Other times they would find him just pacing all night because of his night terrors, for fear of going asleep. He was supposed to go into Veterans Court, and because of the opiates, he actually got rid of the opiates, but he resorted to medical marijuana, which many vets do. Right. And there are some studies that show that THC, which is in marijuana, helps PTSD and TBI. Right. And that's how he got in trouble with the law in Florida, in Gilchrist County.
Okay, but it even says here he ended up in regular jail instead of a veterans court. That's the first thing. I mean, there's so many things that they did to him that don't seem right. It even says here the VA didn't pay him his post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury disability due to a technical error for 4 years. So 4 years he suffered with.
He still hasn't collected.
I don't get how they're able to do that. Yeah. And just to talk about the type of things that he saw, it mentions here that one of the atrocities that he witnessed were finding severed children's heads in boxes.
I can't imagine.
And that was something he could speak of. So you can imagine the types of things he saw that he is unable to share with anyone.
Correct. Yeah, well, he was positioned, and as many vets were, in Sadr City, which is hell on earth. And like I said, he witnessed horrors that we simply can't imagine. And those types of horrors and what it does to the psyche, manifests itself in PTSD. TBI is due to the explosions and the traumatic brain injury that he suffered because of the explosions that he was around constantly in the warfare. The Veterans Court system is a wonderful system, and it's been in place for about 5 years in Florida. It's one of 26 states, and Veterans Court was designed to help vets that find themselves on the wrong side of the law, like many vets do, especially with these injuries.
Right.
And the DA, the assistant DA in Gilchrist County, did not believe that Clayton, although a veteran, should go into Veterans Court. He considered Clayton a menace to society and basically just a drug pusher. And so he fought us on Veterans Court for months. And by where we actually got him into Veterans Court, and they took over 4 months to process the paperwork to get him treatment. Veterans Court is a treatment facility. Wow. It treats the vets individually and based on their injuries. They denied him Veterans Court. The paperwork took over 4 months. They ended up saying he violated his probation by peeing dirty, and they put him into a general population prison, initially in Lake Butler, Florida, amongst murderers, rapists, sexual criminals.
My God.
They failed him on every level. Sorry, continue, Megan.
They did.
Well, and Megan, the only reason he failed that urine test is because he was finally given the stuff that he needed for his medication, right? Wasn't it something he was given and then they tested him for
No,
it?
it was marijuana. It was marijuana.
Okay. Well,
and understandably, you know, if he was caught selling $200 of marijuana,
right,
and that's what landed him in county jail. Mm-hmm. And then the assistant DA, Robert Willis, and Gilchrist.
What was his name? Robert Willis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna make it as possible to talk to Robert Willis.
We'll take it to the governor too.
I'm actually going to try to run him out of town along with the sheriff.
Well, we'll help you.
He's up for appointment this year. Good, because he should not be within a breath of another veteran or actually another criminal, quite frankly, because how he is violated.
Where is he? Where is he? Is in Miami?
So by
he is in Gilchrist County, which is up
in the Panhandle,
outside of Gainesville. It's a very small rural county. It's only about 12,000 people.
Wow.
So they kind of operate, like I always say, kind of like Boss Hogg. You know, no one's really watching them. They kind of get away with murder up there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's corrupt. Well, listen, Megan. Yeah, we're out of time, unfortunately, but I know the saga is going to continue. Keep us updated. As always, we'll definitely have you back on. And like Doc says, we'll do whatever we can to go after some of these guys and right the wrongs.
Yeah, we need to bring them.
Senator Robert Bradley's office in the 7th District of Florida has been amazing, actually being an advocate for Clay and his chief of staff. And now Clay is in Graceville Correctional Facility on the Georgia border.
Well,
that's where he remains right now.
Thank you so much. Megan Barth, a nationally recognized political commentator, women's advocate, and founder of ReaganBaby.com. Thank you so much for discussing such an important topic about our brain-damaged veterans returning home from combat. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Take
care.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, bye-bye.
You're listening to American Medicine Today. Remember, make sure you stay tuned because you'll hear what's new. We'll see you on the flip side of the break. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thanks for continuing to listen to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Glad to be here.
Jeffrey Wagstaff.
Yes, I am.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
Let's look at what's new in medicine today, featuring Alfred Bonati, MD.
Well, this is so important. We have these unfair health insurance claim denials that are just skyrocketing, and it's not appropriate. Why don't you talk more about it?
Well, we need to understand something. Mm-hmm. We need to understand that the insurance companies are based on business.
Sure.
And I think it's our responsibility to evaluate the insurance companies, how they perform.
Yes.
The problem is they sell you a policy, mm-hmm. and you have no opportunity to read what that policy said.
Correct.
You're looking always for the lower amount of money to pay, mm-hmm. so you have crap in your hands.
Yes.
The next thing that you need to do is you need to evaluate the insurance. Well, there are certain insurance in the country today that they are fantastic insurance. United Healthcare is probably one of the best insurance that you can buy.
Okay.
And Cigna is another good insurance that you can buy. Please don't buy Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Let me ask you what is probably a very simple question,
Right.
but just for people to wrap their heads around, why are they better than the other ones?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a leadership that is intelligent.
Okay.
The individual that is the chairman of the United Healthcare insurance, he wised up very fast when he was losing billions of dollars on the exchange, and immediately stopped that bleeding and came out and realized that something is very important.
Mm-hmm.
You may sell an insurance, but if that insurance is not really accepted by the surgeons or by the physicians or by whoever is going to deliver the healthcare to the patient, that insurance is worthless. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly you have a situation where people are going to complain and you're going to have a disaster in your hands because doctors are not going to receive that insurance. Patients are going to be questioning if that insurance is good or not.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very end, they are going to be in more and more problems. And that's
Right.
what's happening with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. They are getting deeper and deeper and deeper in problems,
Right.
because the leadership is very poor.
Mm.
One of the things that happen, for example, if you look at how United Healthcare really behaved,
Mm-hmm.
United Healthcare realized that if he will have an insurer and will process the claim in a fast mode, still utilizing some of the techniques right now in the market. That means they are going to look if really that procedure is performed good,
Correct.
Good results. I mean, the evaluation that's supposed to be there.
Sure.
But they process the claim fast,
Mm-hmm.
and they serve their clients well.
Mm-hmm.
So the doctors are happy with that insurance company, and they flock to create that type of an acceptance in that insurance So the practice improved
Thrives.
for the physicians, the service improved for the patients, and the insurance company has more and more profits based on gathering more individuals from the market.
Correct.
Now, recently is an information. They say that if the insurance company will pay initially the claims normally, like they pay before,
Right.
will save around $45 billion.
That's crazy. And you're talking about since 2010.
Yes.
That's what they estimate.
Now, the other thing is,
More than 43 billion could have been saved. Yes.
that is showing to you immediately that some of the insurance are looking for good service
Yes.
with good results, and they're gathering every single day more and more constituency.
Yes.
Because they are the value that you have with that insurance is worth it. Even if you spend a few more dollars, it's worth it, because you cannot believe when you go to a physician and you have an insurance, and the insurance say you need to pay $15,000 for your your side pay that you need to have.
Correct.
Okay, deductibles or something like that.
I can't believe some of this because they try to term, it's not medically necessary and all this. But they're talking about how a quarter of all claims are denied, according to the Government Accountability Office.
That doesn't surprise me at all because they don't want to pay for anything.
Right.
So of course they're going to deny it.
But they want your money.
But
They make pay your premiums.
You need to understand that the denial in that poor type of insurance, when you buy the insurance, look at the clause that they say medically necessary, or that they say experimental. If you have any one of those two clauses, remember one thing. Has nothing to do with medicine.
Right.
It's not medically necessary by the medical side. It's
Correct.
a legal term
Correct.
to give them the capacity to deny.
Sure.
So when you go and you say, well, I have these problems medically, and the
Right.
doctor is saying that is clear a problem that I have, and then deny, nobody understands why.
Right.
It's not an evaluation of the medical problem. It's an evaluation of the legal problem to deny the claim.
Okay, gotta say this. A 60 Minutes report also uncovered several instances in which psychiatric patients were discharged from inpatient facilities prematurely, and they ended up dying shortly thereafter. So that's your Obamacare. And this is what happens when health insurance companies are cohorts in that whole ordeal. You're gonna die. That's the resounding message.
Well, it's happening that in the country. That is because the poor direction of the business of some insurance company.
Right.
If you look, I have nothing to do with United Healthcare
Correct.
or with Cigna. It's just only when a patient comes to us, it's a pleasure to serve that patient because we don't have the headache that creates not
Right.
only a waste on human resources for the doctor,
Right.
but also in time
It's
for the
agonizing
patient.
for the patient.
And then after that, after all these fights, you have physicians in the other side that they are being poor trained physicians that they now denying the claim of the treating physician. So this becomes a nightmare.
Certainly does.
And that's a look at what's new in medicine today with Alfred Bonatti, MD.
With no end in sight,
I know.
unfortunately.
Well, it's time to wrap up and say bye-bye, our flagship station, News Radio 970, WFLA. But if you're an affiliate, make sure you stay tuned because we'll be back with more. You're listening to American Medicine Today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.